In this tutorial, we will be talking about the scatter graphs. We will be going through a brief introduction about the idea of scatter graphs, and we will explain what do they look like, and then we're going to go deeper into some examples and try to solve an exercise about scatter graphs in order to know more about the concept. Well, basically, a scatter graph is what shows two variables that kind of depend on each other. And basically, one of the variables might even depend more on the other one. Well, basically, if you're wondering how to draw a scatter graph, decide which variable should go on which axis. The one that you think depends on the other should go on the vertical axis. So basically, the variable that you think that depends on the other, such as time and distance, the longer the distance, the longer the time. So basically, time depends more on the distance of the trip that you are going. As long as the distance is longer, so it would take more time to reach your destination. This is just a example about how two variables can depend on each other. So in such case, the distance is going to be on the horizontal axis, on the x-axis, and the time is going to be on the y-axis, which is the vertical axis. Again, this is just another random example in order to show you how to know where you should put each and every variable on the scatter graph and start plotting the variables in order to find the results of what the scatter graph can offer. So basically, let's go ahead and try to solve this exercise about the scatter graphs. Dougal measured the height and shoe size of 10 people. You can see that there's a table that has the height of these people in centimeters, and then you have their relevant shoe size. So basically, what we're going to have to do is to use his results to plot a scatter graph of shoe size against height in centimeters. Well, basically, logic says that as the person gets taller in height, the shoe size must get bigger. Of course, there are some exceptions, but still, this is basically the main idea. So in such case, the shoe size is going to be right here on our vertical axis on the y-axis, and the height of the pupil is going to be on the horizontal axis on the x-axis. Now when it comes to the units, if you take a look at the height, you have the height varying from 150s to 190s. So I suggest that maybe you start with each and every box jumping 10 centimeters up. Here is the origin. After the origin, you might want to start with 150 centimeters. And again, every other box you go in, you're going to have to increase 10 centimeters. So for the first one, I'm going to put 150, and then after that, jumping to the other unit after the next box, we're going to have 160, and then 170, 180, 190, and up until we reach to 200. We're not going to need more than 200 since we cannot find any person more than 200 centimeters. Now when it comes to the shoe size, I'm going to go one by one, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Again, we don't need anything more than 11 since 11 is the biggest shoe size out of all of the individuals that Dougal has measured. So basically, we're going to have to plot the points. For the first person, the person had a height of 165 and a shoe size of 6. The second one had 159 and a shoe size of 5. The third had a height of 173 and a shoe size of 8. The fourth had a height of 186 and a shoe size of 9. The one afterwards had a height of 176 and 8.5 as a shoe size. After that, we had 172 centimeters as height and 7 as a shoe size. Following that, we had a person of 181 centimeters of height and 8.5. After that, we have 169 and 6. Following that, we have 179 and 8. And finally, for the final individual, we had a person that had a height of 194 and a shoe size 11. So basically, this is what a scatter graph looks like. It is scattered points all around the graph, each representing an element. And so, part B says, what is the shoe size of the smallest person? You take a look at the point that is as close as possible to the origin. We find this one the person that had a height of 159 centimeters and a shoe size of 5. The shoe size of the smallest person is 5 since the smallest height is 159 centimeters.